Once he was a celebrated gift, a free login champion granted to all players, a powerful warrior bestowed upon Teleria without the needs for shards or luck. He rained devastation upon the Demon Lord, reducing its health bar to embers. He scorched the Hydra, carving through its regenerating heads with relentless flames. He turned enemies to ice, controlling the battlefield with ruthless efficiency. No, this is not the guy yelling at kids in Fortnite. We are talking about the Ninja. Hey guys, it's SMZ here and we are back with another edition of Through the Years, a series where we look at a champion's journey in Raid Shadow Legends and see how they have fared over the years since their release. After two back-to-back PvP champions, we will now look at Ninja, as he was the winner of the community poll. So, how has Ninja fared over the years? Let's find out. In order to understand why Ninja left such a massive mark on the game, we need to break down his kit. It's not just strong, it's a boss-melting machine that was way ahead of its time. Shatterbolt, his A1, is his setup skill. It attacks an enemy, applies a defense down and boosts turn meter. It's efficient, reliable, and keeps Ninja cycling through his skills faster than most champions. Hailburn, his A2, is Ninja's signature move. It attacks 3 random targets, applies HP burn, and instantly activates it, including the ones he just placed. And to add on to it, it puts him under perfect veil, making him harder to hit. This was a revolutionary skill when it was introduced, and it still is one of the best abilities in the game. Science Slash, his A3, it's a versatile ability. Against waves, it's an AoE freeze, but against bosses, it shifts focus, ignores defense, and reduces the cooldown of Hailburn. This combination of utility and raw damage makes Ninja a threat in almost any scenario. To add on to his already amazing kit is his passive, Escalation. Every time Ninja cycles through his skills, he gains attack and crit damage, up to 100% attack and 25% crit damage against bosses. The longer the fight goes, the harder he hits. He's like a snowball rolling downhill. Unstoppable. In July 2021, Ninja debuted as a free login reward in partnership with Real Life Ninja, in one of the biggest marketing campaigns that Raid has ever done. The character didn't just live up to the hype, he shattered it. He was used in all areas of the game. New players would start out building Ninja as their first champion instead of the starter champion. He was used everywhere, but the place that he shined the most was obviously the Demon Lord clan boss. His escalation passive combined with his Hailburn ability made him one of the best champions for dealing a lot of damage. HP burn was and still continues to be one of the best ways to deal high amounts of damage. However, Ninja had stiff competition in the form of a dwarf epic. Yes, we're talking about Geomancer, the clan boss king, who brought reflect damage and HP burn mechanics that turned the fight into a fireworks show. The catch? Geo's damage relied on keeping his HP burn active on the boss, and Ninja's Hailburn would override it. This forced players to choose between the two, as it was difficult to make them work together. There were some setups that did make use of both of these HP burning menaces working together. However, that required careful speed tuning, because Ninja's cooldown reduction on his A3 and his turn meter boost on his A1 meant that it was rather difficult team to set up in the first place. Ninja was and still is a great champion for dealing with PvE waves, be it campaign, Doom Tower, or dungeon waves. His freeze ability not only did a lot of damage, but it was also a very effective crowd control ability. In the Doom Tower, Ninja became a fan favorite. He was devastating against a lot of different bosses. The boss that he was used the most against was definitely the Frost Spider, because his HP burn ability not only dealt a lot of damage, but made sure that the Frost Spider did not revive again. 2022 saw one of the biggest PvE shakeups in raid history, the introduction of the Hydra clan boss. This wasn't just another boss fight, it was a lot of boss fights in once. Players quickly realized that Hydra was nothing like a simple or a single boss, because all of the different heads had their own mechanics, weaknesses, and strengths, and you needed to keep track of each of them, which was extremely difficult. Early Hydra teams needed a mix of sustainability and high burst damage. Ninja, who thrived in long fights, like the Demon Lord, became a damage dealer of choice for mid-game and end-game teams when it came to the new clan boss. His Hail Burn did a massive amount of damage, it provided a key HP burn debuff, and it also put Veil on him, which was a very useful buff for dealing with the Torment Head. Combine that with the Escalation passive, which meant that he only got stronger as the fight dragged on. However, as the Hydra meta evolved, champions like Acrasia, Husk, and Royal Guard took over. Their enemy max HP hits demolished the Hydra for huge bursts of damage, something that was very difficult for champions like Ninja to keep up with. Ninja was being slowly pushed out of the Hydra meta, and his relevance was slowly fading away. The year was 2023, and a new terror had risen in Teleria. A boss so menacing, so relentless, that players across the land shuddered at the mere thought of farming him. He was called the Sand Devil. And no, he wasn't here to grant 3 wishes. In fact, his only wish was to be able to sleep, and he crushed anyone who dared waking him up into oblivion. At first, players struggled. Some tried straight nuking him down. It didn't work. Others tried control tactics. That did not work either. But then, like a secret martial arts technique passed down through generations, the Raid Shadow Legends community uncovered a game-breaking duo that could take the Sand Devil from nightmare fuel to an actual farmable dungeon. Enter Godseeker Aniri and, of course, Ninja, the duo that cracked the Sand Devil's code. It was a discovery that spread through the community like wildfire. Godseeker, who was already a top-tier PvE support, she had a secret weapon, the revive on death and the skill resets. And what did Ninja love more than anything? Of course, spamming Hail Burn over and over again. But wait, there was one big problem. Ninja was a weak affinity against the Sand Devil stage 25. In theory, that meant he'd be less effective, potentially landing a lot of weak hits on his Hail Burn and slowing down the runs. But did that stop players from using him? Absolutely not. How? A gear set that had previously gathered dust in player inventories was given a buff. There was now a higher chance to not land weak hits for champions wearing this 4-piece set. For Ninja, this was huge. At this point, players were completely rebuilding Ninja from a Hydra specialist into a Sand Devil specialist. Gone were the days of building him as an all-out nuker. Instead, he was all about accuracy, survivability, and the right speed tune with Godseeker Aniri. Some players even changed his tier 6 mastery to reach the high accuracy requirements for Sand Devil stage 25. And just like that, a champion who had been once known for Clan Boss and Hydra had found a brand new purpose. He wasn't melting bosses anymore. He was farming this new and extremely difficult to beat dungeon, sometimes even while ranking up food champions. Ninja had evolved once again. The power creep in the game, combined with the fact that Ninja was reduced to farming just one dungeon, he was slowly fading away from relevance. In 2024, all that was about to change. And it wasn't due to one singular reason, but multiple game-changing shifts that turned Ninja from a forgotten legend into a must-have champion once again. The first major catalyst for Ninja's return was a brand new blessing, Nature's Wrath. At first glance, this blessing might not have seemed like much, just another way to deal extra damage based on attack, right? But for champions who had damage scaling passives, Nature's Wrath wasn't just strong, it was meta-defining. Ninja's escalation passive already allowed him to ramp up his attack and crit damage in long fights. But now, with this new blessing, each time he landed his A1 defense down or his HP burns, he was ramping up his damage even further. Players who had shelved Ninja suddenly found themselves dusting him off, testing new builds and bringing him back into Hydra fights. But that was just the beginning. The second shift in 2024 was all about the live arena rewards, which changed the PvE meta significantly. Many late game players began prioritizing ignore defense area bonuses and maxing them out. Why did this matter though? Well, that's because ignore defense benefits direct damage champions like Ninja or Varl the Destroyer, compared to enemy max HP nukers like Acrasia, Royal Guard or Husk, who had been dominating the Hydra because enemy max HP damage bypassed the need for attack scaling builds. But now, with ignore defense bonuses, champions who dealt raw attack based damage or defense based damage suddenly became more popular. They became the best tools for high-end Hydra clears because their damage was not capped, unlike the max HP nukers. With players stacking these bonuses, Ninja suddenly found himself back in the spotlight. His Hailburn and Science Slash now hit harder than ever. His ability to scale throughout the fight meant that he could push damage totals that enemy max HP champions simply could not keep up with anymore. This marked a dramatic shift in the Hydra meta, one where burst damage from ignore defense champions was now competing directly with the traditional nukers. It was a complete role reversal. Players who had sworn by Acrasia in Hydra now found themselves swapping them out in favor of Ninja, Varl, Trunda, and other hard-hitting attack or defense-based champions. But all of this wouldn't have meant much if Ninja was still locked away from new players. Since his initial release in 2021, he had now been unavailable, causing frustration for those who hadn't logged in during the event. If any content creators or any guides will bring up Ninja, there would be a massive negative sentiment from the community because that champion was just not obtainable anymore. That all changed in mid-2024 when Plarium dropped a bombshell. Ninja was finally back. This wasn't just a re-release as a login reward for new players. Additionally, there was a tournament where players could compete to win a 6-star Soul for Ninja. For veteran players, this was a chance to fully unlock his potential in the new meta. For new players, it was a long-awaited opportunity to add him to their rosters. No more watching content creators show off a champion they couldn't obtain. The hype was massive. Suddenly, Ninja wasn't just that old promotional champion. He was an endgame viable nuker with a fully awakened skill set, benefiting from new blessings and game mechanics that made him stronger than ever before. From 2021 to 2024, Ninja's journey has been nothing short of legendary. He was never the most broken champion. He wasn't a limited time fusion or an overpowered mythical. And yet, he stood the test of time. Through balance changes, meta shifts, and player rediscoveries, he kept finding new ways to burn through Raid's toughest bosses. He started out as a fun promotional champion, a freebie, a collector's item. But through Hydra, Sand Devil, and the power of new blessings, He evolved into something much greater, a reliable PvE specialist, a late game damage dealer, and a champion that refuses to fade away. What do you think? Have you been using Ninja since 2021? Or did you only recently get your hands on him? Do you think he still holds up in today's meta? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this edition of Through the Years for Ninja, please do check out some of the other editions I've done on some other champions. And do let me know in the comments which champion would you like to see next. These videos are very difficult to make because they require a lot of research and collecting a lot of clips to stitch together. So do help me out, join the Discord server linked in the comments, and help me out with the next edition. Help me out with the research. Thank you very much for watching, and see you next time.